My name's GLENY LOVELL, I work for PKF, and we come at it from a very different angle, which is utterly practical. We have a dedicated team, of which 2 of our project managers are here today, whose job, largely working for the Department of Education, is to make an academy happen. So we work from the conception stage through to the day of opening. And our role is to bring together all the people and their passion, to focus it, to deliver it. And that's got 3 main strands to it. There's pure project management. It is a project. And there are so many stakeholders, so many people with passion, with beliefs, and with ideas that need grounding and delivering. There's the educational side. So what is the curriculum we're developing, bringing that together, or the staffing that needs to be recruited, or the policies around that. So it's setting it up as an educational institution. But also, it is a business. Most of the time, they are brand new businesses. So we happen to have backgrounds in finance and business, so we bring that to the fore and ground this with solid foundations as a company and a charity. And many of you I know already work in this area and work with us on this. It is a fairly prescribed process. And you'll be hearing lots of words about academies, free schools, UTCs, converter academies, studio schools. They are all academies of one flavour or another. And they come from different points in time. Now it's a lot is about converter academies and free schools. And to an extent, what we're talking about today is a free school. It's a new provision from scratch with people who believe in offering choice and variety in the education system. The steps involved are very much around 2-stage. There's a contract that has to be signed, agreed with the Department of Education, which is a funding agreement. That makes it happen. And then once we've got that, then it's the actual implementation of the process to open this entity with a whole new cohort of children. So there's a lot about stakeholder management, a lot about attracting students, new students, with a compelling offer. It's quite a big step to come to a new institution from scratch. And there's a lot of work goes on around that. Timescales. A free school? Oh, we've done schools created them in 3 months, haven't we? Generally, it's 9 months to 18 months to set up a school from scratch, but actually all the pre-thinking is done now, and that can take 2 or more years to get things ready from then to the day you actually open as a new, in this case, free school academy. There is, at the moment, a formal process that the Department of Education and the New Schools Network work to, which is an annual cycle of applications. We're in the middle of the one which will be those opening in September 2013 at the moment, and we ourselves are working on all 20 or so free schools which open this year. So the application process for the 2014, September 2014, new schools, new free schools, will start probably around autumn time. We'll know soon when the government announces accordingly. The commitment. Yes, there is capital. Yes, there is revenue funding, particularly to pay for the pre-opening process and obviously the buildings. And the biggest issue is always the site. Make sure it's ready and fit for purpose. And there are constraints these days, severe constraints on funding, as you would expect. That means you, proposers, sponsors, have to put in a big commitment. And I mean a big commitment. This is about not just passion, but effort. People to do the work, to lead it, to drive it, to make it viable, not just for the day you open, but for many, many, many years after. Children are relying on your commitment to make this and follow it through. That can be people, it can be specialisms, specialist knowledge, expertise, it can be benefit in kind, or all of those things mixed together. What do we do then? Well, our role is to make it happen. Ultimately, we take accountability to make sure this is fit for purpose on day one. We manage the relationships with the department and the EFA, which is now the Education Funding Agency, help you understand the process, what you can and can't do, and there's lots of can'ts, but there's equally a lot of cans, and policies changing and developing all the time. So we're the conduit. And we provide the specialist advisors. There is a lot of legals, there's TUPE, there's HR, there's all sorts of specialists, but you're setting up a business, what else would there be? So ultimately, we are there to hold people's hand. We can usually say be a relationship or paid for by the Department of Education, but sometimes it's direct relationships with proposers who need that extra help, additional capacity, additional expertise. So we've been doing this 4-5 years, and we have opened, it must be more than 100 of the mix of academies these days. And I personally have done, I actually have lost count, but it must be 30 or 40 now. And every single one is different, but every single one is exciting and driven by the passions of the people involved.